Day 4, June 2023, new life. We will start our conversation today quite simple, quite clear. First of all, having on mind that hold the money as storage using judicial account do not make you the owner of the money or the owner of the right and guarantee. The guarantee in general, I can't put away. It's a guarantee. We will use our model. It's an industrial project. We had how the systemic control go and got set. During all this period, Brazil perpetrated interference, violence, and by institution, its industrial crime. I will check the first thing, that's the paycheck go as expectation 37 trillions. But for sure, I have at least 3 trillions diverted by public corruption in a transcontinental level. Putting them all together, the first 3 trillion, I will have my factory 1% of this part. This is the first thing we will have on mind. The second thing we will have on mind is that the operations goes by Brazil failed with peers on it failed and goes by Brazil, peers on USA, peers on Europe, peers on Asia. Brazil keep it in silence. This effort is not a Brazilian model. USA had the talk about some elements, but must have the transparency as inner function in all things, required also the Europe and the Asia like this. So by down here, only Brazil kept in silence about all things. Now we work our model. It's quite simple to get and understand because indeed we made this before and goes like this. I will check that the functional pattern in Brazil considering the activity I do as a contract or whatever, we'll have the variable and estimatives on it. The misperception caught at the estimative, which implies the silence at things, will impact the variable and the function. We had this, nothing new. After I got this, I will check that will start a parallel movement that will be observed in a very first moment at the function, which will go like a parallel function. And you had in Brazil, for instance, the law about abusive procedures. And this parallel function will unveil parallel variables or variance of crimes that finally will expose parallel index that do the influence as, very comfortable influence like a retired judge or an ex-president that had the domain of circumstance even not being a person on it and the scams. The influence will set the insider trade and self-dealing observed at the variables considering the instrument I use, changing the function. After I got this in Brazil, I will observe that in USA, in Asia and Europe, they all will be at this side here because it's the area observed at the failure on budget. So they are here at this area highlighted. We have Europe, we have USA, we have Asia, right? This thing here, now we will observe that is a function as second degree, because I will check that all my operations here in general goes like this. But at the same moment after they got unveiled, I will check that they are like this. And if I consider this, indeed I will observe that the internal value here is the corruption at the segment. Here I will check that is the segment ruled by corruption, that is a crime involving Europe, USA, and Asia. This kind of thing goes inside the institution. If I consider this normal, this curve here and this side of the diagram will be at this situation here, and I will have the criminal use of state with criminal or institution like the FIFA that has events for criminal purpose like the World Cup with criminal estimatives. And by obvious, I will do the criminalization or have as wrongdoing the complaint made at the regular use of function, like we observed at the Interpol, that they do the complaint because, or the OECD, they could observe that inside the macro organization or the United Nations you have this lack of will by institutional weakness, ruling the institution and also the future of mankind. Here I have my zeal. This paradigm is the diagram of future. The next 25 years projected at this security plan 1920 up to 2028. Brazil failed, Europe, USA and Asia are on failure even. Brazil is already guilty, has no chance to do nothing. Must pay the thing nominating the peers that you do the payment of this paycheck, estimated with penalties at 37 trillion, but for sure having at least 1 trillion. Which kind of future do you have or would like to have? As I told before, no deceive, no monkey business. We are not part of the Brazil and requested to do not have linked as blood and soil if noticed as a criminal system. Already convicted, not only in USA. You will check that the warranties, considering the judicial power, Europe, USA, Asia, and the International Criminal Court, all with no capacity to act against the organized crime without being affected by this culinary me. Decisions made, formally presented, technically proved, with heavy and strong evidence proved, including the element which puts you all separated but not anymore, since you are on my culinary argument. You will have the warranties by the judicial power. Europe, judicial power. USA, judicial power. Asia. Nominating and listing internal variables or chair at the organized crime, and then you transfer to the International Criminal Court as a third interest not related with the crimes at first and not related with my complaint, but now, able to use the elements that indeed this model is for the International Criminal Court apply the consequence. And they will receive the list, for instance, at the Security Forum. So they can receive the list from each judicial power, Security Forum, OECD, Interpol, or require the list at source, use the budget in Brazil. To prevent crimes against mankind, which has financial records, covered modifier data, which is the idea as this deep web scam. Simple to get, flawless as usual. Have a nice week.